Then Allah cancelled whatever He willed from that custom and ordained that the male get twice the amount inherited by the female, and for each parent a sixth, for the wife an eighth or a fourth, and for the husband a half or a fourth. The share of the females when they are the only eligible heirs, Allah said, فَإِن كُنَّ نِسَاءً فَوْقَ اثْنَتَيْنِ فَلَهُنَّ ثُلُثَ مَا تَرَكَ. We should mention here that some people said the ayah only means 2 daughters, and that more is redundant, which is not true. Nothing in the Quran is useless or redundant. Had the ayah been talking about only 2 women, it would have said, the share of both of them is 2/3. As for the daughters, 2 or more, the ruling that they get 2/3 was derived from this ayah, stating that the 2 sisters get 2/3. We also mentioned the hadith in which the Prophet commanded that 2/3 be the share of the 2 daughters of Sa'd bin Arabi. So this is proven in the book and the Sunnah. وَإِن كَانَتْ وَاحِدًا فَلَهَا النِّصْفُ. If there are 2 daughters, then there are texts to prove they share a half. Therefore, 2/3 is the share of the 2 daughters or sisters, and Allah knows best. Share of the parents in the inheritance. Allah said, وَلَا أَبَوَيْهِ لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا السُّدُسُ. There are several forms of the share that the parents get in the inheritance. 1. If the deceased left behind children, the parents get a sixth each. When the deceased had only 1 daughter, she gets half of the inheritance, and the parents each 1/6, and another 1/6 is given to the father. 2. When the parents are the only inheritors, the mother gets 1/3, while the father gets the remaining 2/3. In this case, the father's share will be twice the mother's share. If the deceased had a surviving spouse, the spouse gets half in the case of a husband, or a fourth in the case of a surviving wife. In both cases, the mother of the deceased gets 1/3 of the remaining inheritance. This is because the remaining portion of the inheritance is treated just as the entire legacy in regard to the parent's share. Allah has given the mother 1/2 of what the father gets. Therefore, the mother gets 1/3 of the remaining inheritance, while the father gets 2/3. 3. If the deceased left behind surviving brothers and sisters, whether half-brothers, half-sisters, or from the same father and mother, their presence does not cause reduction in the father's share. Yet, their presence reduces the share of the mother to 1/6 instead of 1/3, and the father gets the rest when there are no other heirs. Ibn Abi Hatim recorded that Qatada commented on the ayah, فَإِن كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ فَلَأُمِّهِ السُّدُسُ. The mother has a sixth. Their presence will reduce the share of the mother, but they will not inherit. If there is only 1 surviving brother, the mother's share will remain 1/3, but her share will be reduced if there is more than 1 surviving brother. The people of knowledge attribute this reduction in the mother's share from 1/3 to the fact that the father is the one who helps the brothers of the deceased get married, spending from his own money for this purpose. The mother does not spend from her money for this purpose. This is a sound opinion. First, the debts are paid off, then the will, then the fixed inheritance. Allah said, Min ba'di wasiyatin yuwasa biha aw dayn. After the payment of legacies, he may have bequeathed or debts. The scholars of the Salaf and the Khalaf agree that paying debts comes before fulfilling the will, and this is apparent to those who read the ayah carefully. Allah said next, Aba'aukum wa abna'ukum la tadruna ayyuhum aqrabu lakum naf'an. This ayah means, we have appointed a share to the parents and children, contrary to the practice of Jahiliyyah and the early Islamic era, when the inheritance would go to the children, and parents get a share only if they were named in the will, as Ibn Abbas stated. Allah abrogated this practice and appointed a fixed share for the children and for the parents. One may derive benefit in this life or for the hereafter from his parents, the likes of which he could not get from his children. The opposite of this could also be true.